I'm Berry Tramel, and I love the U.S. Open, except they didn't stage a U.S. Open this year.
And I say, don't blame the course, blame Mother Nature. I'm John Rohde. Welcome to Press Row from the Opubco Studios. And Berry, what constitutes a good U.S. Open to you?
I like U.S. Opens where the scores aren't like the Greater Greensboro Open, for crying out loud. They played the Texas Open down in San Antonio earlier this year. They had higher scores at San Antonio than they did at Congressional for the U.S. Open. The greens were soft. I was watching late in the round on Sunday. I was watching and I thought, somebody had like a 30, 40-foot putt, and I said, where have these been all day? Everybody's got 10, 12, 15-foot putts all day. Nobody's off the green. Where's my U.S. Open?
Well, sadly, I have to agree with you because people do look at the scores first at the Open. They're making such a big deal that Rory McIlroy is the lowest score ever, quickest to double digits, yada, yada, yada. And it's all based on score. Well, not relation to par, but score. And, it was a long course, Barry. Congressional is a long course. Nearly 7,600 yards as a par 71. But if it's raining and if it's humid and they can't roll the greens, they can't get things hard surfaces, I'm afraid you're going to get what you got. Well,
for crying out loud, the rough didn't grow. The course was not set up. I mean, they tried to set it up tough, but I like to see guys struggle. If I want to see guys shoot birdie, par, birdie, eagle, I flip on, watch the Hartford Open or something. I go to the U.S. Open to see guys struggle to make a birdie. A birdie should be celebrated. At Congressional, guys were throwing birdies off the walls. Some guys didn't even score. One of the guys didn't even win under par all 4 rounds. He's like the 5th guy in U.S. Open history to do it. He didn't even contend for the championship. So I just thought it was a very, very poor U.S. Open. I like U.S. Opens that are around par. I like U.S. Opens where if you shoot par for 2 straight days and then go 72, 71 on the last 2 days, you got a chance to win. You do that this week and you're never even making the NBC coverage. So it was a bad U.S. Open from that standpoint. It was a U.S. Open saved by Rory McIlroy's excellent. He threw up the great score, the 16 under, made everybody forget that they weren't watching a real U.S. Open. So in many ways, McIlroy saved this Open.
20 players shot under par. 20 players in the red at the U.S. Open. That's crazy. You're right. This is how you remember this week's U.S. Open. You remember Rory McIlroy. You remember that he won by 8. You remember that he never wilted. That's how you remember this week's U.S. Open. For the best coverage anywhere, keep it right here on newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.